Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dharma practitioners, whatever you practice in day-to-day life to fulfill your desires, become a great contribution to your spiritual practice if you become wise. So according to the Theravada tradition, it is especially you can see in Theravada tradition that whatever that your lifestyle, that the same lifestyle that you can apply it to your spiritual path. So as you know, before the Prince Siddhartha attained to the Buddhahood as a Bodhisattva, eons by eons he went through this ordinary life. As an ordinary person, he used to do the same thing like whatever you and me used to do in day-to-day life. But it was a little bit different. Why? Because the deeply that everything directed and everything gathered and focused to one desire. So you used to do the day-to-day life as ordinary person used to live a life, but he never left that anything with the different desires. So when it comes to your life then, as an ordinary person, to find your success or the happiness, do you really have any idea regarding what kind of happiness even that you look for? Or even if you look for the success, do you have any idea or do you have any structure regarding that success? Even if you look for the money, do you have any idea how much you should have in your account within end of this year? So if you have any kind of goal in your life or will in your life, do you have a very clear idea regarding what it's going to bring you? Or if you reach to that, if you fulfill that, what you're going to do out of that? If you don't have it, your own desire, your own will, your own effort going to become misery to your life. That is what happening most of time in day-to-day life. Look at our own choice. Look at our own desire. Look at our own will. Bring the difficulties to us. Bring the miseries to us. And when we look ourselves deeply, the most of the unsatisfaction come out of what we like, what we gathered, what we hold. But in the beginning, before we gathered it, before we go into it, we had a desire thinking, oh, this, I need that, like that way. But we didn't have a very clear idea after that what we're going to do. So then yourself always have a very clear structure in your life. If you have this, what you're going to do out of that, and how you can nourish and how you can contribute and how you can apply it to uplift your life. You should have that kind of very clear blueprint, foundation. So even if you have money, you should have a very clear idea. So what you're going to do out of that money. So as you know, the most of the big jackpot used to be in United States. There are a lot of people that whoever won the lotteries end their life with the miseries. So that the lottery, even though we think it is a kind of like a bringing money, and it is invisibly bringing the miseries to most of people. Not even the lottery, even the becoming famous. As you know, how many famous people, stars, how many well-known people, and end up their life with the miseries because of their own success. Don't allow it to happen. Why? Because when you don't have a spiritual foundation, remember this, all the material things become very dangerous. Maybe even you become a beggar. So even you become homeless person. Remember this in your life. If you have a spiritual foundation, and becoming a homeless person bringing you a bliss, becoming a beggar bringing you a bliss. As monks, we are monks, it's kind of like a professional beggars. That is what our high priest used to taught us. Remember that when you become a monk, that means you become a beggar. As the Buddha himself, he give up everything and then go to place to place and looking some food, but you have no authority to ask for the food or any facilities. So anyhow, as you know, there are a lot of people become sannyasis, yogis, and giving up everything. See, then they become kind of like homeless. They don't have place to own themselves, and they sometimes traveling place to place. They don't have anything to claim as they are, but they do it for their spiritual development. And then if you also gathering things, having things, nothing wrong with that. But if you have that spiritual power, once I have this, I develop my life with this way, like that. If you have very clear idea, remember that whatever you do in day-to-day life, that everything become part of your spiritual practice. It is especially in the Theravada tradition that mainly it uh, indicate, and it that you can see and it teach. And that's why whatever, even as children, whatever the subject you learn, if you put your effort and if you practice so hard, even whatever the the profession you do and whatever the work you do, if you do with the very clear mind and doing your best and giving your best, in a certain level, it will contribute to your spiritual practice. So as you know, during Buddha's time, different people came to Buddha, and then their own character build up through their day-to-day activities, help for them to gain the enlightenment. So then remember that the way you cook, way you clean, way you do things, and way you study, the way you work, that everything become part of your spiritual development. You have to have that very clear understanding, and then you have to have the faith regarding whatever you do. Otherwise, there is no special activities only for spiritual development. No, your conventional life is the foundation. So, but when you have the very clear understanding, this is conventional foundation is become the path and the key for your spiritual development, and then you become okay with this. But mostly we see people hate for this conventional life. People try to stay away from the conventional life. People don't appreciate the conventional life, but they look for spiritual development. It's not going to happen. If it is happening, it not in the Buddha's teaching. There's no way like that. So then whatever the that according to your capacity, as a child, as a young person, as a husband, wife, as a brother, sister, as a family member, as a co-worker, so as a chairman or the boss, so you have to perform your best with that in that capacity. So that will contribute, that become your attitude, and that become your lifestyle, and that will contribute to your spiritual practice when the necessary conditions gather together, be there. So in day-to-day life, then you have to look, rather than detaching your life, look into you and see around you. Look at your lifestyle, what you do, the way you do things, even making a tea. As you know, in Japan, there is a tea ceremony, especially the way they make the tea. It bringing the samadhi, tranquility state. It is not like, talking to somebody and making big sound and thinking about something, watching TV. They don't make TV, the tea like that. When it go to tea ceremonies, they become very disciplined each and every moment, and they focus. And sometimes people get depressed even watching that sometimes, because why? They become slow down with their actions, and each and every moment giving a meaning, each and every action giving a meaning, each and every action, the touching giving a meaning. There is a deeper connection to that. And the tea ceremony is kind of like a spiritual practice, see. So then, look, you have to remember yourself, the whatever you do, very simple things, you have to understand. Even using the bathroom, it is a part of your spiritual practice. And even that the eating, it doesn't matter, little snack you eat, it is a part of your spiritual practice. You have to deeply connect to day life that with that way. And then little by little, you will see how your deeper this clarity become more sharp. So otherwise you do these conventional things in a different way, and then you practice kind of like precepts, and then you practice little bit meditation, and you look for spiritual development. It's not going to happen. It may happen to somebody, don't know, but in teachings that you should not look like that spiritual practice. So then always remember, so do whatever the things in day-to-day life, but focus that, gather that everything to your spiritual purpose. Look for the development inside deeply, be ready for the transformation. If you have a hard time, difficult lifestyle, it is okay. Just imagine that, recognize, understand, accept it. But remember yourself, if there is opportunity for you, I don't need this anymore. I am done with this. And have a clear intention to exit from it. Because that is the misery that we have. When there is opportunity for us to exit from the all the difficulties, we don't do that. Later we become worried. Oh, I didn't do it. Oh, that time I should do that. I didn't do it. Like that way, again and again we become worried. So don't have that. So the strength you build up through the clarity, when you really know what you want out of this life. No one can give it hand to hand. So then it is your choice. Take time and look around and see other people, and then get a very clear idea. And even listen to inside you and see what you really want out of this life. Because this is not going to be forever. This is very limited. And in this very limited time period, and you have to look for that and try to bring that transformation to your life. So then this practice will help you deeply underneath. And even you may not going to see that how it works, but little by little, you're going to experience the change. Not it's outside, you're not going to see any kind of different kind of rainbow while you practice meditation. No, you're going to little by little, your character deeply inside you, you're going to recognize. You're going to see that how it transformed deeply. So that is what you need. So when it comes to this spiritual practice, there are four the spiritual foundations that you have to have. That Chanda, Chitta, Virya, Vimansa. This foundation, this is spiritual strength. If you develop inside you in day-to-day life with the little things, not it always should be the spiritual goal or the spiritual purpose. No, in the conventional purpose, even whatever you do, that also slowly develop this kind of spiritual powers. Chanda means the desire. Desire means not kind of like go down, that you have to have a desire to become a better person yourself conventionally. So that become a strength and the power to yourself. And the effort and the mindset, that is what mostly lack in during nowadays we see. People don't have a mindset. So in your life, regarding whatever you want, you have to have a mindset. You have to think about it. You should go with, and always your mind need to involving with that. If your mind involving with something else and your body involving with some different thing, you cannot get the good result. And the virya, the effort. And the vimansa means you have to look around and see how other people done this, and you have to learn things, and then you have to follow things. So that way you gain the result. So today we're going to talk about the virya, the effort, how the Buddha developed the effort. And as you know, after he left the palace, 6 years, he went through different practice. And sometimes as a yogi, he went to very difficult ascetic methods, very hard. And he almost died, but he didn't give up. But then later he understood that all things not going to bring the truth. And then he started to practice anapanasati. So, and before he sit for that, in that Vesak full moon day, he had a determination himself. In that determination, he thought himself, even I die without attaining to the Buddhahood, I never going to get out of this posture. That determination. So for that determination, in his past life, there was some incident happened that effect for him. It gave the strength to him to be like that way. So that is the story I'm going to tell you. That's why I'm telling, and even the Buddha himself mentioned that through his lifestyle, that in the sansaric journey, whatever the lifestyle that he had, it deeply and greatly contributed to the Buddhahood. So otherwise that detaching from the ordinary life and giving up that things, just finding a different path is not the Buddhahood. Transformation, how you can bring this thing to that, that is the knowledge you have to develop. Rather than throwing this or the hating this or the rejecting this or the resisting things from the life, can you transform? How you can transform this to that? That is where the strength comes. So this is the story. Once upon a time, this our Buddha born as a prince in a palace. Only one child in the for that king. And this child became kind of like 7 years old, 8 years old. And then suddenly he had the wisdom to see his own past life. So as you know, sometimes children, and they have this ability because they are very new to this world and their previous life. Sometimes they talk in a different way, they act in a different, they say things, still we experience like that thing. So somehow this little prince and able to see his past life. What is the past life? He saw very bright light. And he start to focus to that and see what is this bright light. And so then he saw he was in a very strong heat and burning. Then again he start to look why he come to this much burn, this much heat. So now he reminding, he start to observe and see his own past. And then he saw the before that life, the next previous life. In that next previous life, he was a king. And during that time, as a king, he used to punish people and do illegal things and telling lies and giving hard time to people and taking the wealth and so like that and killing. So there are a lot of things he has done. And as a result of that bad karma, what happened? He born in a place and burning. It's like the hell and burning. So he saw this all past life, two past lives. And now he got afraid. Why? Because in this life, he going to be the king. And no any other brothers around him. In this kingdom, he going to be the king now. So what he did decide? He thought this again going to put me in a danger. Becoming a king is not easy. It's become very close to hell. So then I don't want to be a king, but I cannot escape from this. I cannot reject this. Why? Because I am the only one child in this family. I born with the crown, so no escape. Then he decided, from today, I going to be kind of like a handicap. Even though I can see, I going to act like I cannot see. Even though I can hear, I going to act like I cannot hear anything. Even my hands numb. I cannot move my hands. I cannot move my legs. So then he became kind of like intensely himself paralyzed. So then suddenly he got there, the king saw, suddenly this child got sick. And the child was so healthy and nothing wrong with that. And even nothing happened around during days. But this child suddenly cannot hear, cannot see, and even his hands cannot move, legs doesn't work. What happened to this child? So then he called all the physicians and everybody checked this child and told nothing wrong with this child. Everything worked. But the king have now this problem because this child doesn't move. Then the king thought, maybe this child acting like this. So the king was smart and the king start to find out what happened to this child. So one day, what he did, he took this child to an open area like a ground, playground, and put the child in the middle of the playground. And then allow the child to play with the others. So even though this child disabled, these other children start to play with this child, and he was kind of like act like a paralyzed person and cannot move his legs, hands, and that he cannot see other people, other children talk things, he cannot hear him intensely. With the great effort, he himself used to do this. Then the king told to his people, send the elephant, very wild elephant, to close to this child. Because in case, if the child can, this child acting like this way, then the child going to be afraid and then will run. And then the king put people to see, is there any movements this child going to make? Even these animals come closer. And the huge elephant came, very wild elephant, trampling and, then the making noise and shouting, came to very close to this child. But this child didn't move any single movement. And then they put the snake around this child. But this child determined himself and stay without moving. And put a more dangerous animal around this child. Of course, they had no intention to harm and well-trained animals, but to show this child that there is danger. But this child didn't move and concentrated himself, and with the effort, and the child stayed without moving. And then the king knew this is not acting. This child really is uh, the having kind of like a disease. Maybe someone, no one can find this. So then the king was so disappointed and thought this child useless. And then called to one person and told, next day, take this child and put it to jungle. Don't keep even in my palace. It's useless. So then what this person did, took the child and put it to the cart and took to the jungle. And it came to the middle of the jungle. When he took the child out of the cart, and then child start to move his hands, legs, and it's kind of like the elephant, the move and remove the dust itself. The child is the lion how when wake up. So like that, the child start to move. The soldier was shocked to see that and see what happened to you. Why you did like this way? And then the child told, tell my father, I don't have any sickness or disease. I am very healthy, but I don't want that kingdom. I don't want be the king. So this is my own decision, and tell my father I will be in the jungle. Nothing will happen to me. So don't worry about me. So then he went back and told to king, this is what happened. And then later, after few years, the king thought, I want to go and see the child. And then he came to look the child, and in the middle of the jungle, he saw the child and asked, why you did this way? And then child told the story. I saw my own past life, and I saw as a king, I used to do a lot of bad things because I has to do, there's no way I cannot escape from that. And in this life, I don't want to have that. So that's why I decide not to become a king, because if I do that way, then again I go to hell, or I going to have a very painful life next. And the king understood that, because that is the reality. That is what he go through. And he worshiped the sun and told, you are my teacher from today. And then king went back to the kingdom and start to become very dharmic, very uh, compassion king, and used to rule the kingdom. And this child used to be in the jungle, and he became very famous ascetic during that time, and people used to come and listen to Dharma. See, and the point is this, as a child that he practiced the effort to stay without moving when the animals come, very dangerous animal come. Remember that in the middle of that field, as a child, he determined not to move. That is the mental quality help for the Buddha when he attained to Buddhahood. He determined, I am not going to get out of this posture. And even I am die here, I going to be here until I attain to enlightenment. So that determination, that as a child he practiced in one of the past lives, it contribute to this moment and to attain to the Buddhahood. So that's why the Buddha said, in day-to-day life, whatever you do, remember one day it's going to contribute for you to something. If it is good, it's going to bring the good. And if it is bad, it's going to bring the bad. So it is up to you. But remember, in day-to-day life, whatever you do, as an ordinary person, whatever the activities you perform, remember, it deeply contribute to your future. So then have very clear intention yourself and develop these mental qualities within yourself. Even as children, if they work hard, that's going to contribute to their future. It's just not only for conventional life. And that's going to contribute to their spiritual life also. If you become so lazy as a husband, wife, children, as just a co-worker, if you become lazy, if you look for the shortcuts, if you always depending from others, remember it is just not only in this moment. That one day it's going to bounce back to you. It's going to bounce back to you even wherever you go, even it will affect for your enlightenment also. So then remember yourself during this time. So while the living in day-to-day life, have very clear understanding regarding your own life. So then this is spiritual powers, foundations, pillars, and the desire, when you have the intention regarding something, be very clear and look why you want this, and after you have it, what you're going to do. So once you have very clear understanding, go for it. You are the one who should go for that. You are the right person to go for that. It may be different than other people. It is okay. Go for it. Why? Because you know what to do, how to do, and when you have to do it, and after that, how you can transform it to your spiritual development. So if you don't have that clarity, be very careful. Whatever you have, you will destroy that. If you don't know the value of the money, if your parents give you some money, you will destroy your life, you will destroy their life also. Even having the material things, if you don't know the value of the house, and maybe you have no understanding that the meaning of the house, if you own the house, you will destroy that. Not only you, around you other people also, you put it to hard time. Even you have the car, if you don't know the value of the vehicle and privilege to having a vehicle, then maybe you're going to become a very crazy driver and you will depress other people while you're driving on the road. So anything, even watching TV, having the TV, just have understanding what is the meaning of having a TV. Otherwise, you will use it and you will abuse it, and the abusing that you will disturb to yourself and you will bring the disturb to others. So they have in the computer, have the cell phone. Without this, you cannot have a life today. But at the same time, you have to understand out of this what you want. If you don't understand that, remember you are in danger. Anything, any material thing can put you to hell or heaven. If you know the meaning and how to use it, it can transform you to heaven. Otherwise, if you don't know what it is and what is the purpose of that, and then it can create a hell around you. So then it is your responsibility while you're living the life, get that basic understanding. Get that fundamental clarity around you. So once you have that basic understanding, it will develop the foundation. That is what the Buddha taught through this all the Dharma. Developing very basic foundation, very clear, strong foundation. Because once you have it, and your journey become more very clear, successful and beautiful. So then yourself always have the very clear understanding regarding in day-to-day life. Remember this lesson. So whatever you do, one day it's going to come back to you. So then with very clear mind, with the compassion mind, and with the right mindset, and do things. It is not the minor things or the major things or whatever. Little action or the bigger actions in day-to-day life, with the little things even, keep this attitude. And then one day you will see it going to open the door to your transformation, for your liberation, for your ultimate bliss of Nibbana. So with that, I bless upon with this all the good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi diga yuko bhava ettavata cha amyehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Idamme punya kammaṃ āsavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha panuncatu. Bless you.